Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to deploy the WordPress, actually the bitnami WordPress virtual machine on Virtualbox 6.1. So the first thing that you need to do is to go to the bitnami WordPress download page. So simply search on Google for bitnami WordPress and then click on the first bitnami, actually it's WordPress packaged by bitnami search result. So if you click there, you'll actually be redirected to the bitnami WordPress section. So look at the on my computer section and then click on the virtual machines button. So once you've done that, you actually see that the bitnami virtual machine for WordPress can actually be deployed on VMware Player or on Virtualbox. So if you download this OVA file, it will actually work on both Virtualbox and VMware Workstation. So click on the download.ova format, and then it will actually ask you to first sign into your Google account, or if you've got a GitHub or Microsoft account. You can choose whatever you want to use here. In this case, I'm just going to use my Google account to actually proceed with the installation. So I've chosen my Google account. And then the next thing is actually we should get the download link. So depending on the browser that you're actually using, the download should actually start automatically. As you can see, I'm actually already downloading bitnami WordPress 5.9.2. So that's the version that we're actually going to install on my computer in this tutorial. So in the next step, I'm then going to show you how you can then import this virtual machine into Virtualbox 6.1. And then later on, I'm then going to show you how to then start the virtual machine and then complete the WordPress installation process. Okay, so the download is complete. But before we proceed with the installation, I just wanted to ask you guys to like and subscribe to the video, and also to click on the bell icon to get notifications for whenever we actually upload a new video. So to proceed with the installation, right click on the bitnami wordpress.ova file and then click on open with, and then we should then get an option to open it with Virtualbox. You may actually try that again. Right click and click on open with, and then choose Virtualbox. So the file is actually now being opened by Virtualbox, and it should actually automatically start the import process. So we're just going to see when Virtualbox actually opens up if the import process is actually going to start. Okay. Alright, so it's actually given us the appliance settings page. So it's actually recognized that this is actually a virtual machine, and it's giving us options, pre-configuration options before we import the VM, basically. Okay, so let me see if I can make any changes here. Okay, so I'm going to assign 2 virtual CPUs, and then I'm actually going to increase the amount of memory to 2 gigs of RAM. And then I'm going to configure the network adapter actually to, let me see here what options I can actually select in this section. Come on, okay. Okay, okay. So let's see. Actually, we're going to leave it on PC Fastnet for now, and then we'll actually make the changes later. So click on the import button to complete the virtual machine import process. So you'll actually see a pop-up message notifying you that the virtual machine is actually being imported. So in the next step, we're actually going to make some changes to the network configuration for the VM, and then we're then going to access the WordPress dashboard and complete the WordPress post installation and setup process. Okay, so the virtual machine import process is complete. So we're first going to make a change in the virtual machine network configuration, and then we're going to try to gain access to the WordPress dashboard. So right click on the virtual machine and click on settings. On settings. Okay, click on the network tab and then change the configuration from breached adapter to host only adapter. So I'm actually noticing that there's a settings issue here with the display, so I'm just going to make a change to the display as well. If you click on the display tab and then increase the video memory as well, then click on OK. So once you're done, right click on the VM again and click on start, normal start. So this will actually start the virtual machine, and then we should then be able to gain access to the WordPress dashboard. So the virtual machine is starting up now, and we should then be able to get the default credentials for accessing the WordPress dashboard. So we're just waiting for the WordPress bitnami WordPress VM to start, so that we can actually get the details that we need. Okay, so the initial setup process is almost done, and we should then be able to get the details that we actually require. It shouldn't take too long to complete this step actually, and yeah, it's actually almost done now. Okay, so as displayed, the username is bitnami and the password is also bitnami. Actually, let me type that in one more time. Okay, so if you look at the third line from the top, it actually says you can access the application at 192.168.66.21. So this IP address will depend on the network configuration that you've actually configured on the network interface of this virtual machine. Okay, so I'm actually then going to check for the password. So there's a command that you actually need to run to check the password. So let me actually try to open up the web page that I was actually using to check for this password. Okay, so I'm actually going to type in this password here. Okay, so the password is sudo cat home bitnami bitnami underscore credentials. Okay. Okay, the machine is being initialized and the credentials are not yet available. Okay. Alright, so come on. Okay, so we just need to wait a bit for the credentials to be initialized. In the meantime, for you to gain access to the WordPress login dashboard, type in HTTP and then the IP address for the WordPress virtual machine. So in my case, it's actually going to be 192.168.66.22. Let me actually do that again. Actually, WP admin. Okay, let me actually check if I actually got that right. Okay, IP address list. 66.21. Sorry about that. So it's actually HTTPS 192.168.66.21 / WP admin. Okay, so that's actually the correct IP address. So if you get this error message saying that it's actually a potential security risk ahead, it simply means it's actually happening because the WordPress VM actually uses a self-signed certificate. So the browser sees this and then it thinks that it's actually an insecure security risk. But you simply need to accept the risk and then to actually click on the accept the risk and to proceed to the next step. Okay, so we're actually going to try to get the password one more time. Let me actually run the command. Okay, so that's the password. So the username is user Then I'm actually going to try to type in the password real quick. Let me see. Okay. This was probably going to be easier if I was using an SSH connection. Okay, I and then LPK. Okay, so let's try to log in. Okay, so we've actually successfully gained access to the WordPress dashboard. And then let's quickly try to check the front end for the WordPress website. Okay, so this is actually the front end for the site. So this is the back end and the front end. So there you have it, folks. This is how you can simply install WordPress version 5.9 as a virtual machine in Virtualbox 6.1. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Actually, I hope that this tutorial has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.